everybody. First of all, I want to thank you for participating in this paint kit from Heart and Soul as a fundraiser for Amador Stars. So I appreciate you ordering, and bear with me, this is my first video instruction. So, first thing I wanted to do is make sure that you have everything in your kit that you got when you picked it up. In your kit, you should have gotten your truck, 2 stars, 1 laser America, and then an individual lasered letters of strong or God bless. So whatever option you chose. In addition to that, you got red, black, white, and blue paint, a flag, and a couple of paintbrushes. That should be included in your kit. And if you're one of those lucky people who ordered early, you also got a bow. But what you have in your kit is what you need to make this sign. In addition to what you have in your kit, there's a few things you might need to have on hand. You should get a paper plate for mixing your colors, some paper towels. If you have extra paintbrushes, feel free to use them, but you can complete the project with the paintbrushes provided, and then a glass of water to clean your brushes. Later on, when we glue some of the stuff, you'll either need glue or a glue gun to put them together. So again, thank you for your purchase, and make sure you have everything in your kit. When you're ready to go, pause this video right now and we'll start our first step. Thanks again. Okay, the first step is that we're going to paint our lettering and our stars that we're going to then glue onto the truck. I'm going to do these first so that they can dry while we're doing the truck. And then once the truck's done, then these will be nice and dry that we can glue them on. So you're going to need your red and your white paint and your 2 stars plus your lettering. So go ahead and you're going to open your white and take one of your paintbrushes. And since we're not going to be mixing any of the white color, you can take it just from this, or if you feel more comfortable, you can add it to this. Just make sure that when you're dipping your brush that you're not dipping the same color brush, like if you used red. So you take your white, and then you're just going to paint these. Now, I personally like a little bit of the wood showing through, so I kind of thin my paint out, but that's up to you. I think the wood's a little bit more rustic, so occasionally I'll like dry brush it a little bit like that, where I'm not making it really heavy. But again, it's all up to you, whatever you feel like doing, because that's what's wonderful about art. It's all subjective. So paint that all white. Then you would also paint one of your stars white. And then after those are done, then you're going to paint your last star red. The same with all your lettering. You're going to paint those white also. So get ready. Then you're going to pause this video and do this step. When you finish this step, hit continue, and then we'll go on to our next step. Okay, so at this point you should have all your letters painted. So we're going to put them off to the side and let them dry. And then the next thing we're going to do is the truck. So go ahead and grab your truck. You're going to get your red paint first. The first step is your truck has these little lines sketched in, and that will help, they'll show through the paint. So that'll help us add our highlighting after we put a base coat on of red. So your first step is going to take your red and put a base coat. Don't paint inside the window or in the tires. So right now you're just going to put red through here. Just go ahead and get your red, and you can thin out your red if you want with a little water, but first just get a good solid coat, not heavy, just a good coat on your truck. Like I said, sometimes I'll add a little water, help thin it a little bit, just to get it all on there. So go ahead, do this step. So pause your video, paint your base coat of red, again avoiding the windshield and the tires. and then we'll go to our next step where we'll add some highlights to the truck, do the tires and the windows. Okay? Good luck. So, after that first step, you should have your first base color of red. And I know a lot of you probably looked at this red and thought, there's no way that's going to cover it. It will. It's acrylic paint, so you can thin it a little bit with water. And I don't want you guys to be discouraged at this point. A lot of people think, oh, well, this looks so blah. Just be patient, because once we add the shadowing and the highlights, this sign's really going to pop. So, now that you have that base color, the next thing I'd like you to do is put a little black on your paper plate, and then we're going to add a little red in here, because basically we're going to add a little shadowing. So you're going to take just dab your paint just a little bit. I mean, not a lot at all, and mix it with some red, just to kind of make a brick. Okay. Then what I'd like you to do is kind of on the edges. I need almost a little more black here. Kind of give that shadow look. I'm just going to add just around the corners here. I'm also, because you can kind of see the lines through your paint there. So I'm going to do one on my here. And then I'm going to teach you a little trick that if you get a little water, you can kind of blend it. Okay, and kind of just dry brush it a little bit. Okay, so I'm adding that. I'm going to put a little up here. I'm going to do some down here. I'm going to go back here and do my other wheel side. Again, adding a little water, thin it a little bit. I'm going to follow the cut this lasered into the sign to help me kind of know where that is. Then I think I'm going to add a little shadowing. Again, just mixing it together, adding a little water to thin it on the door here. And again, you're like probably thinking, oh gosh, that's a lot. Acrylics are really easy to work with. You get a little red here, and you can mix it to thin it out. So everything's easy to fix. You can play with a little of that shadowing, clean your brush, and blend it a little bit. Okay, spread it around a little bit. Okay, so see, you kind of see that we have a little kind of shadowing going on. And again, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. I just like it for a little depth on my sign. Yeah, that. I'm going to add a little back here, my bumper. Okay. Might do a little bit down here. Again, let's say you do something that you don't like. Oh, how do you fix that? Easy. Clean your brush off. Little water, you can blend it, or you can get your paint again and paint over it. So take a minute, guys, add a little shadowing to your truck like that. And then when you're ready, go ahead and stop the video, do your shadowing, and then when you're ready, start it back up, and then we'll go to the tires and the window. Okay? Okay. Now that we have some shadowing, now we're going to do the tires and the window. So you're going to have your black here. Make sure your brushes are clean. And I'm just going to do solid black at first on the tires, so you can just take that from your actual paint cup here, and then just do your tires. those in. And then, so paint to that inner first line of the circle. Now I'm not, some of you might be real particular and trying to hit that line, but I am not. So you might think I'm rushing this, but again, you can stop the video at any time and get to the point where you feel like you're catching up. Okay, so I'm painting, I'm getting this done. Okay. Oops. Right. There we go. All right. Got that painted. Kind of seems a little whiter than bottom here, so I'm going to add. Okay, so that's my tire. I'll do the other tire also, but right now I'm just going to go ahead and go to the windshield so that we can get both items painted in this section. So I'm flipping over my truck so I can not be reaching, and I am adding first my layer of black, and then we're going to add some white to it to make it more like a windshield. And again, your red should be dry by now, so if you need to lean your hand on top of the sign, you can. I'm just adding that. Turn your sign however you need, whatever's easiest for you to paint. Angle it. Whatever. Oops, look at me, I just made a mistake. Easy fix. I'm just going to extend out my window a little bit to kind of catch where I went a little too far. Okay, all right, so I filled that in with nice black. So what I'm going to do is cover that up, get my paper plate, and now I'm going to add a little white to make it more of a gray. So I'm just going to put a little white here. And then I'm going to dip my paintbrush here, and I'm going to go in the window direction. See, just doing that. There we go. Well, there we go. Add a little bit more. Go up to the edge. There you go. And just kind of pull it back with your paintbrush. Okay. Well, there's your windshield, and then one tire. Go ahead and do the other tire, and then we'll actually then move on to adding the red in the middle. I'm just going to go ahead and start that now, knowing that you can always stop the video and do your other tire. Right now I'm going to get my red out and dab it a little bit here. I'm going to do this. And I'm not being too exact in the middle because I can always be exact with my final color of white if I let it dry good enough. But it's all how you are. If you're very particular, then take your time. Pause the video. Make sure it's accurate. Oops, there I go again. that. And the last step is going to be your white in the middle there. I'm going to use a different brush because I want that white to not be do that. And this is kind of where I'm kind of cleaning up my circle a bit. Okay. I got some red mixed in there, but happy little accidents, as Bob Ross used to say. So go ahead, get your white there. Ready? And do that same step on this side, and when you complete both of them, then we're going to move on to painting the star blue. So go ahead and hit pause and finish those 3 areas up, and then we'll continue to the star. Okay, so now you have your tires done, your window. Now we're going to do the star. So again, what I'm going to do is turn it over so that I have the star kind of closest to me. Then you're going to take your blue, and so whatever kind of blue you have, if you want it to be more of a navy, do that whole technique where you add a little black, but I'm going to go ahead and keep this blue here, and then I'm going to paint my stars here. Just kind of get that going here. And I'm going to get this one area done. I could pull back. So, good. Okay. Okay, now done. Goes pretty fast here. And then after we get the star painted, then we're gonna do our lining on the truck, because it should be nice and dry by now. If not, you can always stop the video and wait till it dries. But we're gonna add our lines around the tires and the door. Okay, so I have my blue done. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn that around so I can now work on my lines truck. So that'll be drying while I work on that. And this is when you should use your smaller brush. And again, the laser line should be seen easily. So we should be able to add our lines to that pretty easily. So we're going to use our black and our smallest brush. And then like right here, we have a little line for the headlight. So I'm going to just make it that. Then the door is here. So I'm going to follow that line that's been provided. And again, I tend to be a little more painterly. I don't want it as precise, but that's all however you guys choose. Okay. And same thing for my line starts here, goes around the tire. And do that. And keep in mind that, you know, you don't have to be totally perfect on this because your lettering is gonna be sitting on top of this. So just go ahead and do that, and then I have my wheel well over here. Nice to have those little lines there that kind of show you where you're painting. Okay. And then I'm going to probably have to guesstimate where the handle is, but I think mine's probably about there. Okay. So you have your lines around your shadowing. Now I'm going to add a little gray to my tires, kind of like what we did up here. So I'm going to get a little white, put it on my plate. That. And then I might use that same brush here. A little of my black. And then I'm just kind of adding it. Again, I just kind of sweep it. Okay. And do that same thing on this side. Sweep it with the side of my brush. Okay. And let's say, hey, you know, I have too much white on that. Fine. Then what you do, clean your brush, get all that white out, get some more black, and add your black in there. Blend it in. Okay? So always keep in mind, acrylics are very forgiving. You can do however you want to clean it up, make it richer. Okay. All right, so then we can add a little for the headlamp. Kind of take a little gray and then add it that. And you can add little highlights around if you want. Again, whatever you're comfortable with or not. And you achieve that with just a little drier brush, you know. So you can add a little highlight color wherever you want, whatever you feel like. And let's say you overdo it, just go and clean it up with the color again. Okay, so there are my highlights. My truck is done. Now we have everything painted. I'm gonna wait and let it dry. And the next step is that we're gonna put together our sign with all the pieces that we've done. So get your glue gun or your Elmer's glue ready. Let your sign dry and then we'll finish it up. Okay, so now we have everything painted. It's dry. Now we're gonna get our pieces that we painted earlier because they should be nice and dry, and our flag. And then we're gonna be gluing them to our sign. So I have a glue gun, so that's what I'm gonna be using. But first let's lay out what you have. So if you had God Bless America as your thing, your sign choice, it's good to, you're gonna be lining up at the top. And you know, you can angle the words whatever you want, or you could have them in a straight line, whatever works for you. So it's good you can use this top level here to line it up. Then you're going to take your America and you're going to glue it underneath. Like I said, if you wanted to put God Bless down here, however you want. This is up to you. Be creative. So those are for the God Bless. If you did America Strong, your America is going to move up higher on the truck and then strong is going to be down here at the bottom. So you're going to glue those. Might even move it back a little bit more. So kind of have an idea of where you want to put your wording. Kind of get it laid out. Then you're going to have your flag. You can choose to put the flag on if you want, but I like the flag and I think it looks best right there. Then you have your stars. I'll put my white one down here and my red one here. So I kind of have it all laid out. Once you have it laid out, then you're going to go and get your glue gun and glue, and then glue it all on the sign. And then once that's done, your sign is complete. I would sign it on the back just to remember when you did it. Another tip and trick you can try is if you have a little sandpaper. This was from Priscilla at Heart and Soul, and you want to rough it up a little bit so it looks a little bit more weathered. You can do something like that to kind of make the sign look a little bit more rustic on the sides. See how that kind of, you know, you could do that. And then the other trick is I like to hang this as a sign, and so I get some wire, and it's about, you know, a little over an arm's length, however you want it. Then I take this wire and I wrap it like this around like a kitchen wooden spoon or whatever. You do this the whole length of it. And it doesn't have to be equal, you're just kind of wrapping it here. I'll just kind of get it all wrapped up like this. I see I need more. So I'm getting there. Then after you wrap it, you pull it off like this, and then you kind of have this nice little hanging wire that's kind of rustic looking for your truck to hang it from. And if you got your bow, you could put the bow at the very top. So I use this and then put it in the back of my sign. I either staple it or, you know, tack it on the back. Then you could put your bow at the top here. If you don't want it really, you could kind of stretch it out so it's taller. But then that's how you can include the bow that you got up at the top here, or make your own bow, or you could just hang it up as is on the wall. It doesn't have to have a hanger. So thanks again. We appreciate your support with Amador Stars and for Heart and Soul. You also, in your bag, got a discount coupon, and I suggest taking a look at some of the other projects Priscilla offers at Heart and Soul and get in the habit of making something creative every once in a while. Really makes you feel good. And again, thank you for your support for Amador Stars.